And now here we are. Mad God. Neither of us have really seen it. We both watched it like twice now, right?
Didn't you go to the premiere for this?
Yeah, I did actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
how was that?
It was the LA premiere of Mad God. It had a question and answers at the end with Phil himself and a couple other people, and it was neat. It was neat seeing it at a theater. It was neat. It was really intriguing seeing Phil talk. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, this movie seemed to have broken his mind.
Yeah, I can believe that.
He seemed, his questions just went off the rails, and you just wouldn't know where he would end up with his point, and he really wouldn't have one a lot of times. Like, he just kind of got lost. And then I think he was saying he had like a mental breakdown in there, and like actually got like not committed, but got some serious help and like took a break from a lot of things. It might not have been this movie, this movie that did it. He's been working on it since like 1987.
Yeah.
And like, you work on a movie in your garage for 30 years. That's just a passion project. You just wake up in the middle of the night. You're like, oh man, I got to have this scene in the movie. And you scribble it down. And it's just a continuing, evolving thing. It's not really a movie so much as it is like an art piece. It's got the pieces to make it a movie thanks to the Kickstarter and various other finishing elements. But it really was it's like a commentary of an art abstract film of Phil's commentary on how gross living in society is. And in that way, I think it succeeds in a lot of ways. Watching again, it was as uncomfortable as it was the first time. And yeah, the story is we'll get into it, but Phil himself, guy, was he started at ILM, not at ILM, but he was involved at ILM back in the early Star Wars days, and he made connections there, grew a name, did bigger and bigger movies. I mean, what's bigger than Star Wars except continued Star Wars? And RoboCop, until Jurassic Park seemingly stopped stop motion for Phil. He was his job was extinct.
Yeah,
as quoted in the movie. Even I think at that point he even considered abandoning this movie because stop motion was kind of dead. Like, the dinosaur killed stop motion.
Yeah.
And so,
which is very funny because then his title became like a dinosaur consultant.
Right.
What does he know about dinosaurs? Like, he's like a cryptobiologist or something. It makes no sense at all.
Yeah. He definitely doesn't have a degree in that.
Yeah.
In fact, Gary, do you know what he has a degree in? Do you know he went to
film school?
Did he?
That's what I assume. I think he went to like a California film school. I don't know. Maybe he went to school for design or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These boomers, they had it better than anyone. He went to college for playing with action figures and probably became a millionaire.
Yeah. He does own a company. He did.
Phil Tippett has a degree in G.I. Joes. Because this is in the 70s when colleges started getting kind of crazy with what they would give you a degree for.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can get a degree in memology and bicycle design.
Tell me that's not real.
It's 100% real.
Yeah. What do you do?
You think that's why our college degrees are useless? Because they're giving them away for memology?
Dude, back in college, there was you could get a free bike in the basement of this building, and there was a homeless guy they employed to just rebuild bikes. Maybe he was the first guy.
That sounds extremely practical.
Maybe that's a degree. Maybe he was the first guy getting the degree through the school.
Yeah.
Bike building. But he was a cool guy, and that free bike was sweet. I mean,
he's been fixing them for years. He probably knows what he's doing.
It was like this great 60s English bike. It squealed like a bat was stuck in the tires when you drove it around. So much resistance.
This doesn't sound like a very good bike, Russ.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, maybe it wasn't a good bike.
Yeah.
Maybe he.
I think you smoked a little bit of meth with the guy in the basement.
I wasn't even riding the bike. It was just a bat caught in my hair.
Yeah. Back to Mad God. They shelved it for like 20 years, and then with encouragement from members of Tippett's studio, he began working on it again.
Right.
And using like volunteers to shoot
Yeah,
which is kind of weird. I guess he's got a bunch of volunteers to show up and film stuff at his garage.
You know, he had interns at Tippett Studios guaranteed, you know, and he's going to have people who are like, oh, shit, animate a clip for Phil Tippett's movie? I'll do that for pennies or just for credit or for money. I don't know how it works because it's all in Phil's garage, essentially, right? It's just him collecting junk and hair trimmings. Teeth.
Are they just shooting like to 35 millimeter film frame so it's cheap?
See, this is what I was considering at the beginning.
I don't know how you film stop motion. Do you use an Academy 35 millimeter motion picture camera, or do you use like a DSLR?
If Phil had started this in 1978, he would have had to. He would have either been shooting to 16. He might have been 16.
I don't think he shot stuff in that long ago.
No, you think he just...
I don't think so. I think when they started working on this movie, he's like, I had an idea for a movie, and I don't think they started shooting shit. I don't think anything was shot before recently. Was it shot in the 90s?
Oh, is that right? I was under the impression...
It looks like it was shot relatively in the same time, and it looks very clean. And
Right.
So I don't know.
So anyway, the technology, it actually says in the credits, shot with Dragon Frame. Dragon Frame is a technology that links into the camera, links into your capture computer, most likely, and you can onion skin, which means you can put a slight translucency to your previous frame over top of the frame you're currently shooting. And that helps, with figuring out where it was previously.
Oh, they're cheating.
Yeah, they're cheating, right? They're looking at previous frame while they look at the same frame. Yeah. It's great, and you can really hone in your animation with it. That said, stop motion still has the stagnant effect. You're taking still pictures, and so adding that motion blur can only happen if you do it through go motion, or you shake the character while you're taking the exposure.
Yeah, which I don't know if it's worthwhile. Like, I think go motion is like part of what's cool about stop motion is it looks all surreal, and like the go motion, I guess it's cool. I don't know. It's like just do it for real, or
Yeah, right.
I don't necessarily need the go motion.
Yeah, a lot of time.
I guess he was trying to this is the newest tech in stop motion. It's like, dude, it's fucking 1987.
Yeah.
You're done, boomer. They're gonna replace you with some fucking Gen Xer with a laptop. And he's trying to shake the fucking set while he takes photos with his fucking DSLR camera like a fucking asshole.
Yeah, that's what you do. Yeah. You shake it like an asshole, and it hopefully works out for your stop motion animation.
So basically, Mad God is Phil Tippett's big passion project. Mm-hmm. A stop motion feature, which sounds exciting, but man, is this movie a piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really boring and a waste of time unless you're like really into stop motion. In which case, you'll probably enjoy it because it has some pretty impressive stop motion and character design. But not much substance past that.
Wow.
I'm giving it 2 stars.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So you think
what do you got?
Is that your De Niro?
Oh yeah,
it's a De Niro 2.
Well, De Niro's a big star. So
yeah, right.
If I give him 2 De Niros, I'm being nice.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I'll give him 2. Who's the guy from I Am Sam?
Sean Penn.
Yeah, I'll give him 2 Sean Penns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably, if you're looking at this like a movie.
Which I think you have to. It's a
movie.
This was sold to me as this is a feature film.
Yeah.
They premiered it on Shudder. It was the most watched premiere on Shudder or some shit, which really isn't saying much because movies that premiere on Shudder are usually garbage. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, no, that's
yay! You're the best piece of garbage this year.
Sorry, Shudder. Yeah, no, you're right. And but who doesn't like the best piece of garbage, Gary?
That's true.
Still kind of edible.
I do love a good piece of garbage.
Still a little bit edible, and so does Phil Tippett. He loves a good piece of garbage. In fact, he kept it in his garage over 30 years, waiting to throw some goo and hair onto it and take a picture of it.
Yeah.
While shaking his whole set.
Yeah. Hold on. I gotta do the go motion on the truck. Vrr, vrr, and he shakes it. This dude is a fucking 8-year-old.
Dude, he's living a dream. I wish I could play with toys for my job. Actually, Gary, I do. I play with toys as my job.
You play with toys for a living too?
I make miniatures for some Harry Potter bullshit. So I'm making little houses. Anyway. Enough of me. So I love this movie.
Well, I'm glad that you're here, Russ, to give me your professional opinion on Phil Tippett's action figure work.
Yeah, this is kind of my world. I do a lot of stop motion. I do a lot of miniature and fucking abstract student films.
Yeah.
This kind of felt.
That's what this is. Phil Tippett is a fucking 57-year-old student making fucking. Yeah, man. Everyone in society is a drone, and politicians are big babies babbling on screens and.
Well, let's get into that. Let's explain what happened.
Yeah, let's start with the plot of fucking Mad God.
Mad God.
Mad God opens with a scene that I think is supposed to be like the Tower of Babel.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah,
it's got Requiem. Like a number 5.
It's got like big opera music, like a silent film, right? Like a classic movie.
Mm-hmm. Just an epic wide.
It's kind of impressive. It looks like all these little stop motion, like animated characters, and then I guess it's destroyed by God.
Yeah, big clouds of smoke. Somehow they do these big like rolling.
Also,
clouds.
this movie seems like there's a lot of CG.
Oh yeah, to call this movie stop motion. In fact, the description on Shudder is way inaccurate. I'm gonna read it right now.
Yeah, it's like painstakingly animated.
Yeah. This movie has like so much compositing, so much like mixed live action, stop motion, slow motion, you name it. They used it to get the effect, but it is definitely not a fully stop motion picture, despite Shudder's description. So yeah, cool composite shot of the Tower of Babel, Requiem 5. Leviticus quote about. The dooming, making you eat your children's flesh. And...
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't realize that quote was actually like Leviticus. I thought it was just made up shit, but yeah, it's like pretty dark biblical shit.
Yeah, just like the wrath of God's gonna come down upon you.
So next, there's this like
explosion, a fucking explosion of fire, and then an eyeball.
Yeah, it's an eyeball.
There's a lot of that, like just
stuff like that.
Weird. You're going to see eyeballs.
Non sequiturs.
Yeah, it's kind of... Let's keep going. You'll see. You'll hear people.
Yeah, well, next they kind of introduce like the protagonist. It's this figure in like a leather jacket and a gas mask, known only as the Assassin.
Oh, I called him Miner. I guess it's not his name in the movie, but he looks like a miner.
They call him the Assassin on like some synopsis that I read.
Nice.
And I guess he's like a soldier, right? So the Assassin is descending into a ruined, hellish world via a diving bell. Like the type of thing they would use to send like a diver into the ocean.
Yeah, that's what that is.
The Assassin has a map of the world and a suitcase with a bomb, which he has been tasked with detonating behind enemy lines within the desolate, dark world.
Yes. That's a nice synopsis. We don't really know that, by the way, right? This is all pieced together.
Yeah.
From a watching. So.
Yeah, I really did not understand this fucking movie until I read about it.
Yeah, so essentially, instead of what Gary just said, it's like there's a prison with a big fortress sort of thing with some guns on it. Look around, start shooting at a thing descending, and then you see there's a guy inside, and then he's got a dead bird in his cage, and he descends through some pubes and past some dino bones and
yeah. But basically, like the protagonist is a post-apocalyptic suicide bomber.
Sure,
you know what I mean.
Sure, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, like I said, he descends past like fossils and shit. He lands and there's all types of like weird creatures in the dark, desolate. I guess it's like a post-industrial world.
Sure, and also this movie is like it's not like steampunk.
No, steampunk would be like older.
This is like diesel punk, but like grunge punk.
It's just like,
but like biopunk,
Yeah, or like pre-jet technology. Like it's also so much World War II shit. But anyways, like the protagonist is spying on some like madhouse, and there's like a silhouette of a woman getting stabbed, and there's a movie theater projecting images of hot dogs. I think it's supposed to be like porn or something. And then like the silhouette watching it, I think it's Alfred E. Newman from Mad Magazine. I'm pretty sure.
I can see that goofy ear sticking out.
And then a big genetically modified T-Rex with tits comes out and starts chopping up this little guy. This is what I like to call the Tit Rex.
We have a teeth Rex.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing is nasty. It's like huge, and it's got big like human teeth and a flat face.
Yeah.
No lips.
Cool
and
character design.
and the invisible man that was like crawling out of the, he's wrapped up like a mummy. He's eating a little chicken thing he finds, and he gets chopped up by this big tit rex.
Yeah.
Fucking what?
That's so it's trippy visuals, and then the protagonist continues downward like he's descending into hell.
But meanwhile, his map is falling apart.
Yeah, his map is slowly deteriorating.
He's got this paper map, and each time he looks at it,
which honestly seems pretty inconsequential. So he's descending deep into hell, or into the bowels of Phil Tippett. Mm-hmm. Which that's actually how they created a lot of the backgrounds for the greasy caverns and things that he's going through. It's just footage from Phil Tippett's colonoscopy.
Oh, smart. That's how
pretty
you save
scary.
money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's why there's all those little,
Well, he eats a lot of red meat.
So that's why the tit rexes are hanging out. That was actually just footage of a little mummy and,
But Mad God is basically just like weird, surreal creature after creature in a dystopian setting. Mm-hmm. So the assassin finds a room of animals that look like they're being tested on.
Mm-hmm. There's a monkey on a table.
Yeah.
If there was any dialogue in this movie, the thing would say, "Help, kill me."
Yeah, sure. And but one of them just looks like a fucking burnt up mannequin in the corner, and it's like fingering itself.
Oh yeah.
It looks like a Tool album cover.
Oh yeah. That's pretty rock and roll.
That's probably actually the most concise way to describe Mad God. It's as if someone animated a Tool album cover or just compiled random clips from nu metal music videos in the early 2000s.
Holy shit.
Or just like a shitty film school movie that goes on way too long.
I think it would be cool with some Tool music on it. I think it's prime for an re-edit.
I think it would be much better as a 3-minute long Tool music video.
I mean, there's so many segments. I bet you could make each one its own little music video if you wanted to. Right?
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
But yeah, weird. This sequence, and then the door just slams, and we're left with being like, what was with the creatures in the cages and this weird muddy doll masturbating, touching its plastic Barbie boob?
Yeah.
This monkey on a table. It's fucking funny enough, actually. The monkeys in the cages were live action. Right, so here we have a mix of stop motion and live action. They're affected, so they like wiggle around weird, or like have trails behind them. But funny enough, the two apes are played by brothers, and these brothers have the last name. Sorry, you're gonna have to edit it a little bit quicker. This is a funny fact, but
I'm not editing you at all, Russ. Find your fucking name.
Okay. It's the Gibbons brothers.
Yeah. So the Gibbons brothers portrayed the monkeys.
Get it? Like a gibbon.
I did not get that.
Like a monkey.
Now I get it. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the gibbon.
There you go.
Gibbon monkey.
That's
I thought that was
Put one
funny.
on the board.
Good job, Phil Tippett.
Yeah.
It's got layers, Gary, beyond the movie.
Yeah, well, Mad God, it's probably some sort of like comment on war and industrialization, as well as like organized religion.
Oh yeah.
Big themes, but there's just like no substance.
Right.
Or maybe I'm just missing something. I don't know. I'm also a moron who went to art school, like Phil Tippett. Lots of World War II looking stuff. Americans are really obsessed with World War II.
It was what made America so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's like it's the last time that we were the good guys, and it's like deeply ingrained into our worldview.
Right.
Right.
That's when you think of America, you think World War II. We're that.
Which is ironic because it was fucking 70 years ago, and we haven't been the good guys since then.
Well, it's been World War ever since.
Yeah.
We're just fighting a lot of
it
different
really
wars.
hasn't. It really never ended. We're just living in eternal war all the time.
And that's what Phil's saying here, people. Wake up, sheeple.
Sure.
Fucking watch some gooey teeth bite an eyeball.
Well, I was reading this thing about how the uptick in crime in the 80s was the impact of GIs coming back from Vietnam and using like search and destroy and like military taught tactics in the drug market in impoverished neighborhoods because there weren't like drive-by shootings in like the 60s and 70s. It was like, oh, we're gonna have a knife fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Meet me at 3:00 underneath the bridge.
And now it's 2022, and the average American teenager is ready to pick up an assault rifle and execute 50 children before killing themselves. And you have to wonder, I don't know, maybe that's because of the military and the government.
And how cool guns are made to look. And I think people are bad at locking up their guns. And I think people are bad at...
But that doesn't explain the behavior of the person who wants to use the gun to kill 50 kids. That's just, now we're arguing about like gun locks. It's like...
Yeah, no, you're right. And it's not about that.
Yeah. It's like suicide American style. You know what I mean? Like in Japan, they have like Harry Carry where you kill yourself. Like, oh, I dishonored myself. It's time for me to remove myself from society. I don't want to be a burden on everybody else. Here it's like, no, I'm angry. Fuck you. I'm going to kill as many people as possible, then kill myself and make the biggest, loudest temper tantrum. You know?
Mm-hmm. If only.
That's kind of our culture. It's like, yeah, fuck shit up.
It's stupid. It's sad. It's upsetting, and I can see why. Gary, you want to make a stop motion movie?
I just want to make jokes about kids getting shot.
No, you
I
don't.
don't think we're getting there though. You want to make a stop motion movie about kids getting shot?
Yeah,
that'd be fucking great.
Yeah, there you go.
That would have been more poignant than fucking Mad God.
Well, I made Harry Potter with guns. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's pretty much.
No, Harry Potter with guns was a better social statement than Mad God. So eventually the assassin finds a city behind enemy lines, which is home to an army of nameless, faceless drones ruled by a baby babbling monstrosity that's only seen as a like fucked up mouth on big screens.
Yeah, just babbling babiness. Yeah. Well, these clumsy workers made out of like funneled mouth shit from... Right?
Yeah.
The process of making these
people deep in Phil Tippett's colon made out of his asshole hair just walking around. And then they get formed out of Phil Tippett's asshole hair. And then they're singed into, little mold. Little drone soldiers.
Yeah. But even above that level.
The movie is just more shitty, pretentious satire. There's no substance to any of this. It's just like... It's like obvious.
Yeah.
It's like shit you've seen a million times.
Right. They fall into grinders and they get crushed by machinery and they're just, they're clumsy and the machinery doesn't care about them. And yeah. It's just all, all metaphors.
Man,
and
everyone in society is a mindless drone. And it's like, yeah, all right, Phil.
Yeah, he's not wrong, but kind of.
Yeah.
So it's all good. Man,
no, everybody in society is a mindless drone, and thankfully there's geniuses like Phil Tippett to make T-Rexes with tits that speak truth to power and are able to intelligently satirize these systems of authoritarian control. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well said. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We can't even add to that. That was perfect.
Yeah. I think I kind of get what he's going for now.
Yeah. So you get this movie.
Phil Tippett's working on levels that we just can't comprehend because we're just not there with him.
He broke his mind making this movie, dude.
Yeah.
The levels are
there.
He
broke my mind.
Something got broken.
Yeah. So there's more T-Rex things, and you kind of see
but
more,
not really. I mean,
are they different? I guess they're different, but like these ones are kind of cooler. Right? Because now you can see like the design. It's like the ass is made out of tits. Oh. Its butthole looks like a big pussy, and its dick is just flopping around. It's a pretty wild creature.
The one that's just shitting everywhere?
Yeah. The dinosaur pussy squirts shit, and then my dick squirted cum, and the little distributor cap gas puppet man continues downward still.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So like, and that's what I'm thinking. Like, do you think these tit Rex creatures? This is like Phil Tippett giving the finger to Jurassic Park for destroying his beloved stop motion industry.
Probably. I mean, it's a big way to say "fuck you." Here's a shitting butthole of an animal with tits for balls.
Hey Spielberg, this is what I think of your Jurassic Park. It's just a fucking dinosaur shitting out of its pussy. It's pretty surreal. All the tit pussy T-Rexes and the authoritarian baby talking over the World War II speaker system. But I can't help feel like this would be a much more entertaining film if it had some sort of plot or character to invest yourself into.
You weren't invested in the guy who gets crushed.
I wasn't invested in the protagonist, but shit pussy dinosaur number 3 really got me.
Really got me.
Yeah, he gets to his place and he finds now he's deep within the cockles of Phil Tippett's colon. Mm-hmm. He might even be deep into the subcockle region, you know?
Subcockles.
Yeah, like real deep in those Tippett guts. And then the assassin discovers just mountains and mountains of other suitcases, just like
his own, yeah.
You know, beneath the city. And they also have bombs, which, his bomb will presumably detonate. So he's like setting his bomb, preparing it to go off. And then some big like mutant robot thing grabs him.
Yeah, some sort of mechanical creature thing. Yeah.
And his bomb fails to detonate. So big, long, epic journey for nothing. And I guess maybe that's part of the point, showing the individual soldiers' futility in the face of the war machine.
Wow.
All these soldiers have made this crazy, harrowing journey for nothing, which is how I felt after watching Mad God. You know?
Yeah.
It's fucking 90 minutes for a shitty circular narrative and fucking Phil Tippett playing with action figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Action figures are the dopest, man.
Yeah.
But if only my action figures were as hairy and goopy as... Well, I mean...
Yeah.
Well,
yours are goopy after you play with them.
Yeah. How do you play with yours?
Yeah.
I always wanted to go to
All right, Russ, clean the cum off your action figures. It's time to go to bed now.
I always wanted to go to Ralph's and buy like a big tub of smooth peanut butter, condoms, and a Batman action figure.
Yeah, just
like cash out.
Yeah.
Make way too much small talk. Actually.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would be about, but maybe they wouldn't think of anything of it.
What you should do is just buy something completely normal, and after the exchange, pull the Batman out of your ass covered in the peanut butter. That would be way funnier.
You're right. That's the perfect joke. You wouldn't see it coming.
Well, didn't somebody do that in court? Like they wanted the judge to think they were crazy, so they put like a wad of peanut butter in their ass, and you pull the wad of peanut butter in your ass and start eating it like it's shit.
Oh.
I think somebody did that, like a serial killer or something, to get off.
Okay. And did it work?
I'm going to say yes.
Did he get off?
Yeah. Yeah, he ate the peanut butter out of his ass and he came, and then the judge put him in jail for life.
Yeah, so he's attacked.
So he's caught. Yeah, the assassin is put on public display where he's stripped and tortured in front of a mass of spectators.
Yeah, like audience sits and some red curtains pull back and they watch this guy.
It's like they're watching like an old-timey movie.
Right, it's kind of behind a curtain. It's almost like shadow play.
It's
on
like another trick. It's like this really stop motion and it's more just fucking... Now Phil Tippett's just making hand puppets in his fucking garage.
Hey, however you got to get it done for $100,000.
Yeah.
You know,
bunch of fucking film students showed up like, we're going to learn something about the movie industry, and this fucking 60-year-old man is fucking with like a flashlight going, ooh, look, it's a duck, and I can do a bird. You guys ready to film today? And we're going to do, you know?
Hey, best he really knows how to nail the quail, just that top little thing. Oh, it looks so good on.
Yeah.
You try to do that with your fingers, Gary, that little beak. Yeah. The way he makes it articulate.
And, you know, I'm sure these, to do stop motion, you got to be good with your hands. This is a delicate, these sets are probably small. Also, Russ, like when you're doing stop motion, I feel like the size of the figures and stuff is a big part of the actual detail.
Sure.
Like the lower the budget, it's probably like the smaller the figures and they're just zooming in.
Well, for
and then bigger budget, they're probably making bigger heads and things and doing it.
It really depends on what is needed for the shot.
Sure.
Right? For Team America, a lot of the background...
Those are very large puppets.
But at the same time, a lot of the background puppets are smaller to force perspective. So really, for stop motion, it depends on what you need. If you need to have a book cover with a lot of detail, maybe you'll do that just in a regular size book and just shoot it like regular size. And then when you cut back to the other actor, he's action figure size.
And
or
like,
smaller,
you know, I'm making fun of Phil Tippett for cheating and having live action, but part of the allure of stop motion is that you can mix it with live action. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the point.
I don't know. A lot of stuff really doesn't.
Yeah, but if you're shooting like a stop motion film and you're shooting a shot that doesn't move, like, you're just going to shoot it.
Oh, right? Yeah, right. You're just going to film it.
That's always like an element of it, right?
Sure.
But I mean, there's moments in this movie where it's just like the figure bobbing up. Like you can tell it's just somebody holding a fucking action figure.
Right.
And that kind of loses me.
And this scene is definitely just people sitting down, and then like there's a screen with some actors doing a scene. And in fact,
Yeah.
earlier in the thing, even close-ups of the assassin's hands and stuff, like looking at papers or opening a map and stuff.
Looks like it's somebody's hands.
It's a scaled costume for someone. Yeah.
And that shit, it looks bad. It doesn't look like the rest of the movie, and it stands out. And it's like,
I wonder
if you're gonna make a movie like this, I think you should just do it more stop motion. But I'm no Phil Tippett.
right.
So we are 1/3 of the way into Mad God, and I can't imagine how it could get more graphic. And then they start operating on the assassin and just like open him up and festoon his organs about haphazardly.
Well, he's after he's been derobed by the two beasts behind.
Yeah,
the
it
thing.
like comes back later. It's like he's in like bandages now. It's like it's been like weeks later.
He's
or
like
some
in a
shit.
hospital, but it's just like cubes with like brutalized, like open wound people on every side, and he's in this full body cast made out of like masking tape or something cheap as hell.
And it's more like dehumanizing imagery. Like, he's just one number of many people. In
and
this
the doctor comes in, doesn't even say anything, just starts chopping him open while he's got to look on in horror in this huge body cast.
Yeah. He's rummaging through his chest cavity.
And like Mary Poppins briefcase, just deeper and deeper.
He's pulling out like jewelry and books and like, metaphors for useful secrets of war.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah.
And like all this shit's just pulled out and thrown about the room.
With like a really long sequence. Like you could have got away with throwing like one pile of jewels down, one book down or whatever, but no.
This movie is very self-indulgent. Like it's just repetitive and it's the same shit over and over again.
Again, it feels like kind of a student film. Phil has directed movies before. He directed Starship Troopers 2, which
did he?
totally lost the spirit of the original.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and what else did he do? He did a couple other ones, but
Okay.
yeah, nothing really to write home about as far as I know.
Yeah, I'm not impressed with Phil Tippett as a director after watching this. So eventually, after a long period of searching, the surgeon finds what he's looking for, a screaming, nightmarish baby with a full set of teeth. And the surgeon hands it to the nurse, who rushes out of the operating room with it.
Yeah.
While the doctor just continues his savage, exploratory surgery on the soldier.
Yeah, then the baby. Let's talk about just this baby. It looks like something I'd find in my drain. Just like a huge
Like
clump
a wad
of
of
hair
hair,
and teeth, tongue.
Yeah.
Live tongue whipping around.
Yeah, it reminded me of something from like the Max or like one of those MTV animated things back in the day.
Sure.
But I mean, I guess because those were stop motion, so it's all similar shit, right? So in the world above, the last man gives a map forged by witches to another soldier, and he sends this guy down in another diving bell. I guess it's a different one because he lands somewhere different.
Wait.
Yeah.
The last man? You're talking.
What, you want to talk about the baby first? Because I'm going through it chronologically, I think.
No, because we're talking about the cloaked man, right? Who uncloaks.
Yeah, that's supposed to be like the last man.
The cloaked clergyman.
He's supposed. That's
what
what
he's got. This guy. All right. So
according to Phil Tippett, that's the last man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it looks like his.
It looks like he has shitty stick-on fake fucking nails on his hands and.
He's got really long nails. Really long nails.
Yeah. So because he can make mechanical devices to fucking do all this shit, but he can't build a set of fucking nail clippers, or he just likes doing coke.
But his castle's under attack or something.
I guess so.
It
yeah.
looked
by
like
the evil drone,
by the miners or
sure,
the assassins or whoever they are. Right.
Yeah.
It looked like they were trying to break in to his thing. Meanwhile, he's got these long nails. He's putting on his right outfit. He's walking around and past an army. I guess these are an army of robots, is what you're saying?
I think so. I think that's what they're supposed to be.
All right. That makes a little more sense. And and so then he lowers this. There's this new miner or
a
character,
new soldier guy. I guess.
being lowered.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Uh,
With a new map.
Yeah,
Leather.
He gets the map from these like weird witches, right?
Yeah.
And this guy, he sends this guy down and he lands, and I guess it's somewhere different. It doesn't look like the same thing.
Yeah, it looks like a destroyed city or something that's like overgrown.
Yeah, there's like a big alien thing eating like Nazi zombies.
Yeah, there's a big red. It looks like a virus,
Yeah.
And it's big and red and kind of
pretty cool.
see-through. It's a neat idea. And if it is a virus and that's the idea behind it, that it's zapping people out, it's That's an interesting.
It's pretty interesting. And then, even more interesting than that, he drives past a bunch of like anthropomorphic chicken women jerking off a bull.
Oh yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah. No doubtedly a comment on Wall Street and the commodification of sex in Western culture.
Holy smokes, that is deep.
Getting on that Phil Tippett social satire level where he's just taking you to school. He's just a smart guy.
How long do you think he spent making them jerk off that bull? How much extra footage do you think they had to cut
What
off?
about like the volunteers who showed up on that day to his garage and like, all right, today we're working on her hand comes from his balls to back to the tip. And we're going to get this all done. We need to get this shot.
I built the foreskin on so you can really see the movement on the Minotaur's penis. He's going to ejaculate. Make sure he drools a little bit.
Yeah. So the little soldier guy is driving around on a motorcycle, and then he gets into a Jeep.
Yeah, changes from a motorcycle to a Jeep.
Yeah.
Interesting choice of... Why does he change vehicles?
I don't know. I think he just finds them along the way. I think he's just kind of scavenging and picking up whatever he can get.
To be fair, a car is a safer thing to drive.
Sure.
And if it starts...
Yeah, and he follows the map through a munitions depot and a graveyard and a war zone before he's like descending down a square spiral roadway.
Yeah.
Which some of this stuff looks really cool, and some of it looks like it's just Phil Tippett's hand off screen pushing a fucking Matchbox car.
Yeah, I did like the tank battle. That was nice. There was a lot of slow motion, like things blowing up. But it was clearly a car, like an RC car, that they were just blowing up shit in slow motion next to. But the pit design, phenomenal. Gave me so much anxiety looking down this big square pit with this car.
It doesn't look like that car should be able to turn with that radius.
You wouldn't be able to do that radius. I would be so worried driving that car. I probably would have got out and walked, but this guy just, now I'm going to drive down this thing.
Yeah.
Ballsy.
Because he's been conditioned by the government, to be a killer and just go and do what he needs to do. He's a soldier. And that's what Phil Tippett's trying to tell us.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That you're going to go for the mission.
I don't know. Somebody has a better understanding of Mad God. I'd love to hear it.
Past the war zone. Funny enough, there isn't really too much any words written anywhere in this movie, but there is graffiti on the wall when he's driving, and I had to rewind it. The words write, "Joe is a retard."
Yeah, I saw that.
But retard with a T.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know who Joe is, if that's pertinent to anything, but when you're making an art, an experimental film, everything should have meaning. So read into that what you will. Joe Dante.
Actually, you, sir, are the one who is developmentally disabled and cannot spell retard properly. That's what he was going for. It's like a zing on the writer.
Zing on the writer. Sure.
He's trying to criticize somebody, but it's just coming back on him and showing his own ignorance. Milk on your face. You can't spell retard, you fucking retard.
That's deep.
Or egg on his face. I don't think that's an expression.
Milk on his face. Yeah. Well, got milk. That's when you got milk.
Yeah, this fucking retard's got a milk mustache.
Yeah, typically. So great. He gets past it. He gets past the nukes on the horizon.
Yeah.
He survives. It's great. I mean, obviously metaphor for getting caught in the crossfire of war. War is always happening.
Yeah, so the point of this movie, war is hell. Or for other films with this theme, see every other war film ever made.
What about Windtalkers?
I never saw Windtalkers. Is that
war seems pretty
Is that
cool.
where it's like the Native American guys have to like...
Nicolas Cage has to save them.
Oh, is Nicolas Cage the Native American guy?
He's not Native American.
Okay.
No. Thank goodness. Not in that one.
Yeah, but in real life.
Yeah.
Of course, he lives on the reservation. So the nurse brings the baby to a floating creature who escorts the child to an alchemist, who then smashes the baby into liquid and smelts the liquid into metal and crushes the metal into crystals that he then hands back to the floating fucking dream catcher person.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
is that CG?
The floaty person?
Yeah.
I was trying to figure it out. It is a pretty neat effect. It's kind of like at first it's big and shrouded in darkness, right? It's this big like
Yeah, he's like floating around. He's got like a
loony-
plague mask.
Yeah, the plague mask you eventually see. This Babadook looking mofo. And he brings his baby everywhere. He like really makes a big long mission. In fact, we jump over to another sequence in the meantime while he's like floating around.
It's the whole process of transporting this weird
baby thing that I guess gets less hairy by the end. Looks a little more red, a little more, it's nasty anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the creature scatters the crystals into a fiery portal, and a new universe forms that rapidly decays into another ruined world. And seemingly this action causes the assassin's failed bomb to continue ticking in some ethereal fashion.
Yeah.
Is that what happens?
I don't know. We jumped ahead so far. Like like so much happened. Are we going to not talk about that? Or?
Oh, yeah. What did I miss? We can go back.
Yeah, I don't know where we should... Because so the
we didn't talk about the little guys in the terrarium.
Yeah, that happens after. Yeah, so the baby is delivered, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't want to throw you off, Gary.
No, it's fine.
You kind of jumped ahead. The baby's delivered. The nurse like goes home and like wears her mask, her bloody masks, to bed and tries to sleep, but can't shake the idea that she gave this baby off to this thing, right?
Oh, okay.
It looks like it, and then
I totally missed all this. I'm just like,
no,
is this fucking thing over?
No, yeah. At this point, you're like, I don't know what's going. And upon second viewing, this is things that I'm like, wow, I didn't remember this at all. But it's things I wrote down. Yeah. The baby's cry wakes her, and then this Babadook, he keeps bringing the baby around, past some gates with some big bulls, and down its stone staircase. There's a yellow, stringy, gooey baby doll that cries, "Mama," but is ignored by the big floaty thing as it just continues on its merry way. Meanwhile, a lumpy potato-faced dude in like a head shawl.
That's like the alchemist, right?
Yeah, I guess he's the alchemist, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's this character. He's wearing this head shawl like a medieval serf or a Russian grandma, and he fucking he takes out the trash and he crushes a little crab in the process.
Oh, okay.
Then two naked humanoid beasts. Here's my favorite characters. Mm-hmm. Two naked humanoid beasts wearing metal helmets of mesh are battling. They like beat each other senseless.
This is the monkeys that are shoveling shit, right?
Yeah, they beat each other with their shovels, and then Grandma Potato Head comes over and scolds them, and then uses like this little little lever she's got to shock electricity into their domes.
Yeah. It's like they have like a built-in like control device. It's like they can shock them and control the shit flinging monkeys.
But it doesn't really control them. It just shocks the shit out of their head, and they're clearly in pain, and so she turns it up again and again. And in fact, she shocks it so much, she shocks an erection into one of them.
Yeah, she kind of flutters when it gets shocked.
Goes,
I wouldn't say it's an erection. It just kind of little flutter.
It stands up for like a good
second. There's lots of dicks in this movie.
There's lots of flappy. Like,
do you think that was like a Phil Tippett directorial flourish? She's like, all right, we're ready to do the scene. Nope, that creature doesn't have a penis. He wanted every creature to have like a floppy, gross dick.
We got to do it again. Not enough flop in the dick.
There's not enough animation on the ball sack. Reshoot it.
In fact, put some nipples on that balls and more hair.
Can we just make its ass out of tits and make its pussy out of a butthole?
Yeah, what if it looked loose, like you just, popped a bowling ball out of there? And that would explain the shits, right? Anyway, so, yeah, it zaps the erection into this thing till they both puke with pain. And then they get back to shoveling literal shit. Until more shit falls out and one pokes the other one's eye out.
I mean, aren't we all just shit shoveling monkeys?
Is that who these guys are? So that makes me think. So if we are all the populace, is the hair creatures that are like pumped together at the beginning and they're just getting smashed and squished and whatever, right? Those
are the drones. We don't really know what the soldier is.
Okay.
But the drones, those are the people in the dark, desolate area that he went into.
Right.
I guess the soldier, we don't really know, I guess. He seems like he's biological because he got taken apart. But then when they take him apart, the baby inside of him looks like one of the fucking drone things, kind of. Right. So, who figures? What is Phil Tippett trying to say with that? The innocence of a child dies when you fucking have to work on Jurassic Park for 3 years and you want to fucking kill yourself. I don't know.
And then you lose all your shots except one of them.
Yeah.
And stop motion's
that is pretty funny if it's like you've been working on this thing for fucking 3 years and then Spielberg flies in, he's shooting some other movie, doesn't even give a fuck, and he watches some stuff and he's just like, oh, fire this fucking asshole. Like, it just, not only does he fire you from your job, he destroys your whole industry, like probably while he's eating a fucking tuna fish sandwich.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna have that in Hollywood anymore. You're not gonna work here anymore, Phil.
Oh no, that's fucking stupid. Get rid of that.
Yeah,
no, all of it. Like, don't ever use it anymore.
We're not gonna. You can't. You're gonna be a dentist or supervisor now.
You think Phil Tippett just pissed off Spielberg? Like it was just a personal thing.
Spielberg was like, you know what? Fuck stop motion.
Yeah. Spielberg came into the office after Tippett was there and he took a fucking rank shit. And Spielberg just had to take a piss in the bathroom with fucking Phil Tippett's nasty shit stink in the air. And he's just like, I fucking hate this guy. I fucking hate this guy. And he just hated him forever after that.
And
that was 1978.
Yeah, sure. Well, Phil did base that animal's butthole off his own. So he did go into the bathroom with his balls hitting the ground and like shit spraying out all over the walls. And, he can't control it. He's a stop motion animator. You got to understand these things, Gary.
Yeah.
This just happens when you're on your feet for 8 hours a day.
It's great work considering they probably didn't have a union shit squirter. It's probably a volunteer.
Yeah,
manning the shit squirting, devices and mechanisms, whatever you need for production and whatnot. Yeah.
Hey,
but it looks good.
To be fair, great splatter effects. Like doing splatter and like small particles in stop motion is not an easy feat, and so good on him. Hey, this reminded me of a story. High school, I was out a couple quarters early, right? And so I went over. I went to Taco Bell, and then I came back to school. And I used to do this thing with my friends called the B-52 bomber, and that's where you throw your legs up on top of the bathroom stall and you shit from above the stall into the toilet. And it's funny because it falls, right, very far and splashes into the toilet, splashing water everywhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, so everybody's watching. Here I go. Oh, here I go. And I throw my legs up. But as I do so, I accidentally shit and splatter the entire wall and back wall. And everybody just ran.
Shit all over the school bathroom?
Yeah. I felt so bad that I took off my underwear and cleaned it up and went underwearless and sockless because I actually got some shit on my sock during it. And I never B-52'd since.
That's why the janitor hated the kids and was such an asshole, because he had to clean up your shit off the wall.
This happened, a couple every 2 weeks or so.
Oh, really?
No. I didn't make a thing of it.
Okay. Well, at least it was only a one-time thing.
No. Pooping in the urinal. Now that was my thing.
Oh, yes. At least you weren't the kid who pulled down his pants to his ankles instead of piss.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't do that.
No.
In fact, I try to squeeze my dick out through the tiny fly they give briefs. Why would they give you such a small fly? Does anybody pee out of those?
Nobody pees through the fly.
Nobody pees through that.
I guess it's for like air.
Or you're going to pee sideways, and it's going to be a reduced stream because it's like squeeze. It's like bending a hose.
Well, have you seen that? Now they have the underwear with the dick and ball pouch.
I have those on right now.
Are they good?
Yeah.
You like them?
Yeah. So supported. My balls were getting saggy.
Yeah.
And at night, I would like roll over onto them. And now, not an issue.
Yeah. Well,
underwear
technology is really, getting somewhere.
Come a long way since Phil Tippett started this movie.
Yeah. That's why Phil Tippett made this movie. He was so sick of his penis sticking to his testicles. He's like, it's madness. Society, it can't work like this. My balls, they're always sticking to my ass and my thigh. It's crazy.
My loose asshole shitting all over the walls.
Yeah.
Can't live like this anymore.
If he had just gotten himself a pair of, pouch underwear, we could have avoided this whole film and his whole mental issues and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd be more healthy and better off for it.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
So Mr. Potato Head, he sprinkles a bunch of tasty grubs. Back to the movie. He sprinkles a bunch of grubs into this colorful, fun little like paradise of fluorescent rocks and plants and elevator music.
Oh yeah, this is the scene with the weird Dayglow aliens.
Yeah, and a splotchy little yellow dude.
Look, they have like weird like butthole faces.
Yeah, no mouth, no eyes, just a little hole in the front.
And then he just like releases a button and a big spider thing comes out and eats one.
Oh yeah,
And then one of the aliens gives one of the only lines of dialogue in the entire film, which is "Oh no."
Oh no! It screams as its friend is dragged away by this spider that Mr. Potato Head released. What a dickhead! So I don't like the alchemist. He's kind of a bitch ass.
Yeah.
He has this nice terrarium with colorful creatures that just want to slurp down maggots. And he wants to see him eaten by weird spider creatures.
You know, he's trying to make a comment about how like scientists are kind of like sick fucks. That's kind of a good point. Mm-hmm. You know, they will like experiment on puppies and fucking do whatever to figure out whatever.
My cousin works on rats. Rat brains. He's got.
What does he do to them?
He's studying their brains and he's learning a lot. But he's got little things sticking out of their heads that you can.
Gary, it's very scientific. He's studying their brains. He puts them on a table and he bashes their skulls with a hammer. And then he says, "Oh, this one's brain looks a little bit different than that one." And he writes notes. He does 1,000 rats a day, and he's starting to make some real progress.
Yeah. We're learning if you hit it on the anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, scientists, they do experiment. I feel like this was better suited for that monkey on a table, though. This sort of like message, right? You know, someone should have came in and started operating on the monkey while the monkey's like, "Please kill me," earlier, rather than having a little fun little paradise sequence. Again, it's probably a fever dream. Phil Tippett woke up and was like, "I got a little creatures in fluorescent colors with little butthole faces. They eat maggots and they get spiders."
Yeah, it's just I don't know, man.
And then
it's not very compelling. I was just bored.
Right. And then he goes over the Potato Head and he cleans dust off his everything because I think he's expecting our big floaty friend there.
Okay.
And he looks through his telescope and he watches a couple films of like an atom bomb go off.
Oh yeah, he watches some like old Stag films, like a woman with a big butt.
Yeah, getting washed off with a bucket.
My grandfather had one of those like old Stag films.
Oh yeah,
it was just like it looked like somebody just like hired a prostitute and was like, "Hey, let me film you for a little bit."
and she just did
whatever.
Just
like some naked fat lady. I'm like, that's all men had to jerk off to.
On 16 millimeter or what?
I think it was 8 millimeter. He used to have like 8 millimeter.
He had to like set up a projector and stuff.
Yeah, we used to have like 8 millimeter projector and like he'd have like copies of like King Kong and shit like that. You could buy some movies back in the day and watch them on 8 millimeter. They look like shit. And I don't know what you did for sound. I guess you played a record or something.
Yeah, sure, you'd have to.
But yeah, I remember specifically going to garage sales when I was a kid, and people like were getting rid of that shit. And you'd find like feature films and shit on 8 millimeter. You know, but
interesting.
I don't think it really spread or was as popular as like videotapes.
Sure, yeah. But it's wild. Old technologies,
It'd be interesting to watch a movie on 8 millimeter. I bet it looks really shitty,
but also pretty crisp.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, technically speaking, Russ, that's closer to the real format. If it's
right.
If there's no compression digitally. You ever like meet somebody who like tries to give you that bullshit? They're like, well, technically, it looks better actually on film because
it does though. They're not wrong.
No, it does in the perfect conditions where the room is perfectly as dark and it's projected perfectly at the right angle. And everything's perfect, but that never happens.
And you didn't digitize the image already.
Yeah.
Right, you're straight out of the raw raw footage. The cellulose.
To me, it's just a cool guy thing. It's like being into vinyl. It's like it's fine you're into vinyl, but it doesn't sound better.
You ever see the movie?
It sounds worse.
You ever see Blow Up? The movie Blow Up.
Is that the one where John Travolta is recording the sounds?
That's Blow Out.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't seen Blow Up.
Blow Up is the idea that if you do have a piece of film, it's like enhance. Mm-hmm. If you have a sharp film, it's well beyond like 4K.
Yeah.
It's beyond 8K. Sure. It's a sharp image. And so if you can keep expanding and enhancing whatever, you can see things that are technically speaking, you should be able to zoom in to film and it should look as crisp, but it doesn't because it's soft. Because you didn't get
I think qualities of the lenses have to be taken care of. Like a lens isn't made to be so sharp that you zoom into something. So it's just and also every generation you're losing quality. So it's just
every time
film usually does not look. I mean, it is good if you do it perfectly right and then you digitize it. And then you get the best quality image. But
sure.
Usually those things don't happen with old movies.
But this one was probably shot digital. Since as you said,
assume,
it was all shot on Dragon Frame. The end credits say all shots shot on Dragon Frame.
But is that like a camera system or were they using like just like a Red or something or some digital cinema camera?
That's just the technology, the software to link camera to data.
Just to hook up your camera to your computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see the onion skin.
It's like taking photos tethered.
If you had another feature in your regular monitor of what you're watching, that could show you the previous frame overlaid slightly.
Yeah.
That's exactly the technology. But there's more features to it, obviously. You can run DMX controllers through it, so you can change lights and stuff on different things, on different frames and whatnot. If you have motorized,
so you could sync the lighting to the shots that you're filming.
If you have motorized cameras, you can do the same with the camera movements. And you'd probably need to for a lot of things, but
it's funny because the technology to make it easy to shoot stop motion didn't exist until nobody needed stop motion anymore. But now it's great.
Now it's really easy.
Real luxury. Hypothetically speaking, if you're shooting stop motion, which you're not, there's all this stuff.
You know what? That said, the technology still is tricky. It's proprietary.
But there's a couple stop motion features made every year, right? Or,
yeah.
Like there's still
maybe one. I mean, it takes like 5 to 10 years to make a movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but if they start one earlier, you have a couple in.
Well, I'm sure they have multiple going, but they come out periodically. Tim Burton makes them, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so the guy throws the shit into the fire, and it makes another.
After all this, he makes the metal, he throws it in there,
blah, blah.
explodes. It's got this big, I you know what? It's neat. I don't know why that would be the case.
Yeah, I don't know. It's some sort of like bleak circular narrative about how human progress is futile. Some sort of like cynical worldview described through sexually modified dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Again, to most millennials, this whole thing will look like a Korn music video. Because after Jurassic Park killed stop motion, it was basically relegated to music video B-roll, which meant that 38-year-old Phil Tippett would have to take his portfolio in for meetings with bands like Crazy Town and Dope.
Sure.
He'd have to like explain his resume to a 23-year-old heroin addict.
And I'm sure a 23-year-old heroin addict has seen RoboCop, right?
Yeah.
It's like heroin addict's favorite movie.
Yeah. Then you have to like ask this kid for a fucking small budget to make like whatever crap he needed to promote their new single, Retard Pussy.
I guess I'll do that.
Is that a good joke? Does that sound like a Dope song, Retard Pussy?
Yeah.
Know.
by a not punk band.
You remember the band Dope?
No.
They were like a shitty new metal band. They were like
new metal.
Okay,
no,
Kmart
say
corn.
no more. New metal, retard pussy.
What? Yeah. And I think one of the guys in Dope got arrested for like having like a 14-year-old in his car or some shit.
Oh, that's no good.
No, you don't want to do that.
Did you know one of the members of Tool was sculpted the maquette that was going to be used in Jurassic Park for the Dilophosaurus stop motion sequences for Phil Tippett?
Really?
Yeah. Back when.
Damn, Russ, why didn't you say that during the Jurassic Park episode?
I didn't know that fact back then.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
who, the drummer?
He had long hair.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you don't know it now.
I actually don't know the guy's name, but I do know it was one of the members of Tool right before their like first album kind of like hit.
He was a animation sculptor, sculpting.
He sculpted. Yeah, he was a sculptor.
Oh,
he sculpted creatures and whatnot at Stan Winston's studio.
Yeah, the final part of the ending is the worst. The dust develops into a society, and there's some like 1995 looking anarchists spraying like a big A on a building.
They look like they're 5-year-olds. Did you notice that? I think it's two sisters.
It's two like children.
Yeah.
And then they set off like this like 1930s time bomb, which turns society into a dystopia.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is Phil Tippett trying to say with that? The world didn't become like a war-torn shithole because of like anarchists. All the war and industrial shit that he's complaining about, it's all caused by governments and corporations.
Yeah.
Not because of hippie graffiti artists.
Yeah. No, I mean...
Is this his big statement? Society ruins itself, man.
Society crumbled, and then these were the creatures from the ashes.
These goddamn kids. They were spray painting on the buildings. Next thing you know, my neighborhood's ruined, and there's dinosaurs everywhere shitting out of their pussies. I can't even walk down the street without shit pussy falling all over me.
Man, Berkeley. it's a dangerous place to be.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's like, no, Phil, the world wasn't ruined by anarchist graffiti artists. It was ruined by boomers like you. The same way your generation ruined the film industry by turning movies into 90-minute fucking McDonald's commercials.
McDonald's. Go for a Big Mac. Quarter.
No, I wonder why the world sucks now and fucking everything's shitty.
Why don't they have a Mad God McDonald's crossover? Like,
yeah, that would have been a good
toy line, food line.
The Tit Rex Big Mac special or something.
The Big Mac.
Think of something clever, Russ. Come on.
Tit Mac. Shit Mac.
The fucking the monkey boner McFlurry.
Oh yeah.
Fuck Phil Tippett, man. He could shove his fucking dinosaur action figures up his ass. He sucks at making movies.
Oh, ouch. Yeah, he's not the best director, but
I got one for you, Russ.
Yeah.
Phil Tippett, more like filled with the tip of it because this guy sucks dicks. You know what I'm saying?
But just the tip.
Suck the whole thing, but
Okay, well that's
Starts the tip.
that's admirable.
Yeah.
If he only sucked the tip, it'd be like he didn't really go
Hey,
for it.
well, Phil Tippett always finishes the job. He finished Mad God, and he'll finish you off in his basement if you show up to help him play with his action figures on the weekends.
Yeah, that's a problem. You know what? I gotta go intern there real quick, Gary.
But the thing that I really found irritating was that, like, at some point they just stop with the stop motion.
Yeah.
Like, once it's not stop motion, then it's not even an interesting art piece. It's just a shitty movie.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I did find myself waning during the not stop motion parts, waiting for more stop motion buttholes to do some crazy stuff. Which is I don't know. You had to make the movie however you can. It was easier to do it that way. It was cheaper to do it that way. Less time. That's what
he made the movie.
And dude, if you've been working on a fucking project for 30 years and it's fine, you finally have the money.
You're like, fuck it, put on the costume.
Yeah, just whatever. Go to Planet Hollywood, buy a nurse costume, and we'll.
Hey Phil, how about we cut 3 minutes out of the fucking organs getting thrown on the floor? And just, save a little bit of time that way.
And what?
I guess they got to make what is it, like 82
it,
minutes? This
yeah,
thing's barely a fucking feature, and it's still fucking a chore to watch. Like, it's not even that long, and it's hard to get through. And this is what Phil Tippett did with his Jurassic Park money. He just put up a budget so he could play with his fucking action figures in front of a production crew, for fucking 3 years.
I mean, he's got the studio. They do quite a bit of work, and he has worked a number of other jobs.
Yeah, he does stuff.
They do actually visual effects now. They've branched into that. They do a lot of elemental stuff like water and smoke and fire and things like that.
The whole stop motion thing, it was probably fun while it lasted, but like it was an industry that lasted like 50 years.
I think there's a way to do it, Gary. I think there's a way.
Yeah, they still kind of do it, but it's just, I guess it's done so rarely. It's not really an industry.
Right.
It's like a boutique thing.
You're right. Yeah, the stop motion world, it's definitely niche, and it's definitely hard work with, it seems, not a lot of, it's small.
It must be expensive because it takes so long. But then again, maybe if it's not that many people.
It's you set up the lights, and then those guys screw off. Unless you have multiple stages, in which case they set up lights there, and then they go to the next stage, set up lights for the next shot. But once that happens, the animator's got to animate for 1 to 2 days, depending on the shot.
Yeah.
At the studio I'm at now,
but still, like it's such a small crew. I mean, it probably isn't that expensive.
Yeah, you can keep it small.
So I don't know. I mean,
and you can work
what are you gonna
people
do?
to bone.
These guys, they got to play with fucking action figures for a living for 50 years. I don't really feel that bad for them.
Mm-hmm.
The boomers had it good, Russ.
They really did.
This motherfucker played with G.I. Joes for a living, and he probably owns a house. For my generation to own a home, you need to be like a studio executive or win the fucking lotto.
Mm-hmm. I keep buying these scratch tickets.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it someday.
I give the movie 2 stars, but only because of the shit out of the pussy scene. Aesthetically speaking, it was a brilliant takedown of the Supreme Court's recent Roe v. Wade decision. Everything else in the movie feels more like shitting into a pussy than shitting out of a pussy. And shitting into a pussy is just wrong.
Bad.
And extremely degrading to the woman whose vagina you're defecating into.
Or man.
Thank you, Russ. You saved me on that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or Titzilla.
Yeah. I don't know why they didn't just make a whole Titzilla movie. That would
Maybe
be
they will.
better.
He'll save some money. Use the prop.
Yeah, just reuse the same tits and the same shit.
Just make sure it takes place in a decrepit colon, and you got yourself a goddamn deal.
Yeah.
32 years later, we're gonna get.
Do you think they're gonna make a follow up, or there'll be another one?
Phil was asked this question at the interview, and he was like, "Well, I mean, if you want to pay me, yeah, fucking yeah, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
I guess so, yeah."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if I guess he got Kickstarter money to make this.
He did get Kickstarter money, but I don't think it was a passion project. He thought about it. I'm sure he's closed out, hopefully with this movie, closed out that thought. Because I know I've worked on a project for many years, and it's tiring. And if he's waking up and constantly thinking of new things, and the thing keeps evolving, and it's a crazy art piece.
There needs to be more dicks.
Yeah,
more dicks and more shit.
More shit. Then
he's an uncompromising artist, Russ.
Hey, dude, if you lived dicks and shit for 32 years in your head, and you'd want to, you'd lose
his
it
heart
too.
Track. He's got to really express himself, and what he had on the brain was mostly dicks and shit.
Yeah, he seemed a little bit burnt out, and I don't know if that's from animating dicks and shit in his garage for 8 years or whatever, 32 years, or if it's from doing drugs or whatever, but.
Did Phil Tippett do a lot of drugs? Is he like an LSD guy or something?
I don't know that.
You're just kind of assuming because he's a fucking weird beard.
He did seem off. Yeah. But again, he was premiering this movie and him seeing the movie for the first time in front of an audience, seeing how they would respond. I wanted to ask a lot of questions. That
he made this while he was just like strung out on LSD the whole time. Fucking respect.
Yeah, dude, I just gotta make it. I gotta make it dicks and shit. Let's check it out. How it's sweet.
There's no political message to this at all. This is just what Phil Tippett saw when he was on LSD.
Yeah.
This is a literal interpretation of his LSD trip. Yeah.
Yeah. But he might not be the most acclaimed storyteller, but
he's a fucking terrible storyteller.
But I did like. I do appreciate the work he has done.
Yeah, I mean, when the movie...
2 and 3 stars for me.
You giving it 3 stars?
I'm giving it 3 stars.
Okay, so that's a little bit more of a favorable review.
Because it really, if you're looking at it, it's an art piece. It's an experimental film.
Yeah.
It's a film, but it's an experimental film. And so...
the experiment failed.
Dude, look at any fantasy movie from the 80s and you could say the same damn thing. Legend is all over the place and there's just weird sequences. There's not dicks and shit, but it's there's big chess pieces and there's feathers falling for no reason. Just for no reason. This one at least seemed like it had a reason, whether heavy-handed or heavy-balled,
Yeah,
it was
definitely heavy on the balls.
Definitely heavy on the balls. So, yeah, that's what I'll say about that. Lots of miniature work, crazy puppets.
Yeah, it's cool character
God.
design. I was pretty impressed with the scale and the detail of the animation, but I got bored with the movie very quick. And it's because the movie's just lacking in any intriguing plot or character. It's really devoid of any story, and it manages to do that in the most pretentious way possible.
Yeah, sure.
It's just But
by just giving you goop and eyeballs and teeth.
Dude, it would be great if Phil Tippett was coupled with a filmmaker who had a good story to tell, and he made an interesting visual movie that worked in tandem with a script and dialogue and characters. That would be awesome.
Sure.
But this is a shitty portfolio piece for fucking Phil Tippett's animation.
I don't know if you need dialogue.
I have trouble, maybe it's just me because I'm a fucking big dumbass with ADD, but I can't really watch a movie without dialogue. I'm just what the fuck am I watching?
Have you seen Primal?
I don't think I've seen Primal.
It's a cartoon.
Okay.
But it's dope.
Some movies, are impressive what they can do without dialogue. Mad God, not so much.
Well, there's dialogue. It said, Mama, and
oh no.
No.
Yeah.
So there you go. Mad God. Good sound design, interesting puppet design, heavy-handed messaging, and art school production.
Yeah, man. Go watch it if you're a drone of society and,
and like stop motion
Yeah.
and like shitting assholes.
Yeah, I do like shitting assholes. All right, I think that's good enough.
Yeah. If there's one thing we know about you, Gary, it's
like-
that you love a shitting asshole.
Shitting, but it was a shitting pussy, which is way more intriguing because shit's not supposed to come out of there.
No.
That something's going wrong if you're shitting out of your pussy.
Something is wildly amiss.
Yeah,
And that thing is society, Gary.
exactly. Point, Russ. Phil Tippett is trying to say society's out of control. There's shit coming out of the T-Rex's pussy, and its ass is made out of tits.
Damn.
You know, I honestly, you've won the argument, Russ, and I'm now convinced that this is actually a good film. I give it 5 stars.
Yes.
Phil Tippett, I volunteer to work on any of your projects. I'll be there. I'll bring some PB&J sandwiches, and I'll help you get the dick jiggle just right.
I love this. I love this new Gary.
Yeah.